Hello darklings, my name is Sanniz and it's time for a new video. This time a little different again. But first, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share and press the notification bell. Stick around. Hello darklings, my name is Sanniz and I'm from Sweden, and this time is a video that actually is I am nominated for, like in a tag, and it's from our Kult Sanctuary, and she wanted me to do 50 random facts about myself. And she's an amazing YouTuber too, and I think you should go and look at her channel. I'm gonna put down everything in the description box. She do a lot of things. She do makeup, she do hauls, she tells about incredible stories, she do vlogs and that type of things, just name it. And she have been living all around the world too, and before she moved she was in New Zealand and now she's in Russia. And I thought I should start with the questions, but I have made it a little easy for me to remember, so I remember I'm really gonna get 50, so I'm gonna have to read some of my notes just to know what I'm gonna talk about. So sorry if I'm reading from paper again, my memory, you know. So it's better we start now, so it's not gonna be too long and you're gonna be too bored. So we start with my nickname. My nickname is Sanniz. Some people even call me Sanna since I was a child, but Sanniz is the most usual one nowadays, and it's actually a short nickname for my name Susanna, or Susanna, that you usually call it. And that's because we have many with similar type of names, Susan and Susanne and that type of thing. So we were many that was called the same nickname, so I had to have my own, so I got Sanniz. I'm an Eldergoth. Surprise, surprise! If you've been on my channel for a while, you should know by now. Maybe don't look like one, but I am. And I have always been a tomboy, no matter what. Never been really comfy in the girly stuff. I thought that was very boring. When it came to dolls, I only wanted to change clothes and the hair and everything that type, so the girls didn't think I was funny to play around with. So they didn't want to play with me after a while, because that's the only thing I did with the dolls. Change clothes and change how they look like. But I didn't want to do these games in between, because I rather play with the boys, because their games are so much more interesting and fun. I have an education too. I am an engineer inside telecommunication, but I don't work with it. I had 2 motorcycles. One Harley Davidson 1200 Custom Sportster, and I actually rebuilt it to a trike, and it was before all the rules settings were coming, so you could actually still drive it if your driving license was old enough, even on a car driving license, so that's good. And that one was even to exhibitions, because it had a new set, to a bolt-on set for being a trike, so it was very fun. And my second was a Harley Davidson Weird Muscle. So many people thought it was a guy that actually was riding that bike, because it's a bit big. But, you know, if they say girl can't do it, I'm gonna prove them wrong, at least to that type of things. I also had 2 Icelandic horses, and one was a mare that I imported from Iceland that was named Perla fra Stakkseyri, and Perla is like pearl in English. And my other horse was a gelding that was a Swedish breed, and he was named Bliki from Enghagen. And the interesting thing with the Icelandic horse's name, that after the name itself, you can see from which country it came from and where it has been born. That's the way they rename the horses. And I am very clumsy, so I got scars. I have actually 2 scars in my face too, and one is actually this eyebrow, so it's very narrow compared with other ones. I had to pick on this one to make it the same. And when I got that, I was 3 years old, watching Pippi Longstocking, or like we say in Sweden, Pippi Långstrumpa, on the television when she did this game that we call in Swedish Hela havet stormar, or maybe you know it's more like musical chairs. And the fun thing, or not that fun for my parents, that was once I was playing and tried to do all the things she did, my date with the table was not directly the best one, because my eyebrow went and blood everywhere. Clumsy, clumsy. I am the oldest big sister. I have 2, and I also have a half brother in Finland that I have never met before. I am not Christian, but in Sweden, if you have Christian parents, you are natural Christian when you're born. But when I was older, I could actually refill the formula and actively leave the church, because I was not interested in that. I could read about the Bible, I could read about the different things, but I never been a Christian by heart. I always been a pagan. I am a witch, and that's not surprising why I wanted to leave the church and the Christianity. But I don't use an altar, because I think the altar you can have everywhere. You don't have to have it on one place. You can have it in your own mind or whatever. It's up to you if you want to have an altar or not. I used to play in graveyards and cemeteries when I was a kid, and I really loved it. The grown-ups was not that keen of that idea, but that was one of my favorite places to be. And if I didn't play, I loved, and still do, love to go and watch all the gravestones, to see when people died and if they put some story to it, and even see if there's some special artistic thing with where they're buried, because some graves are really pretty, especially when I look at YouTube and see all the graves from other countries, because sometimes in our it's just boring, because everything looks just the same. And I have scared Jehovah's Witnesses away once when I opened a door, and I'm not gonna tell more, because if you want to know more about me, you have to go back to another video some time a while ago, that I actually have a get ready with me video when I was talking about that type of things, because that was a funny story too. I grew up as a kid and teenager in Viskafors, and when we were 17 we moved to Borås, and after that I have been moving a little around in Borås, but even to other places too, before I ended up around now, just a little bit outside the Borås itself, but it still belongs to Borås, but it's named Brämhult. I think I had this one before, but I am not a gamer. I'm a hopeless, even on ordinary games, I'm a bad loser. I don't want to lose. So I can't be a gamer either, because I hate it. I hate it. I don't have patience, and I can't sit the whole fucking day in hours and just do one game. I am blonde. You can see it. I colored my hair between 2001 and 2021 before I started to go back to my more original hair color, because I'm very light blonde. I got piercings and tattoos. Less piercings today of different reasons. And the tattoos right now is 8 totally. And I would love to have much more. I used to be a backpacker. I was traveling around in Europe. Even went down to Italy and took the ferry from Brindisi over to Corfu. So that was fun and games, and on the way home we were not supposed to go that way we did, because we were supposed to go back directly to over Europe, the straightest way to Denmark, and then cross over with a boat to Sweden. But it ended up a little extra tour over Paris, France. You see, shortcut, not directly. That's the way when you're impulsive sometimes. I was a sporty kid, believe it or not, even if I'm pretty chubby right now. And I used to play basketball. I was in a team there, and I was swimming, but I didn't compete in that one. I did riding, but on big horses during that time, and I also did floorball that I actually was competing in. I love to do it yourself projects, and the people that have followed me know that, especially when you're on Instagram and I can present the things I do everything from jewelry to clothes and other stuff. And if nothing better than go out in the shops and look for things you can use for do-it-yourself projects, or like I say, when I can slaughter things. And slaughter means that I'm gonna take the bit I'm interested in. I don't care how the piece itself look from start. If they have a piece I can use for something I would love to do, I'm gonna take it and kill that item. That's why I say slaughter. And of course, because I love that, that means I'm creative too. And when I was a kid, I was drawing a lot, and that was actually the easiest way to get me to shut up or just be calm and don't be that, you know, irritating kid that was all over the place, like I could be if I was in that type of mood. And my parents thought for a start that, oh, it goes very well if you don't have those impulsive humor swings all the time. But that was till they found my drawings, and I understand why, because everything that was going on in my head that other kids maybe were screaming and shouting and doing bad things about, I actually draw things down. And I can tell you, if you were a horror movie maker, you could get some good suggestions on new movies in those drawings. And if I didn't draw that type of things, I love to draw graveyards and stables with horses, because I loved horses. And when we were small, we used to rent videos, and we had some deals sometimes that you can, if you borrow a special number of video films, you can get them for a special price, for special time limit too, so it was for more than one day. And that means that we kids could always pick at least one movie each, or two. But sometimes they were a little bored of me, because I only choose 3 different types. And if it wasn't a horror, it was about great white sharks and other sharks. Or in worst case, like I said, ninjas. Don't ask me why, but that was a fascination, and I still love it. And 2001, I was in a very serious car accident. My boyfriend back then, he died, and actually I was dead for a while too. But you see, I'm not that easy to kill, so here I am. I can't be a blood donator, and I discovered that especially during this time when I was in hospital, because even when I try to give my blood samples, I have a very hard time to get the blood, but they noticed it even more when I was on the intensive care for that accident, and they thought that now got the blood running out when I needed to do checkup, and suddenly it was like you took a tap and just close it, and the nurses got big eyes and was, what did just happen? It was just running very good, and now nothing. So they didn't even got even the first tube. So they all the time when I go and do those tests, and even right now, they're still saying, whatever you do, don't be someone that donate bloods, because it's not possible, because they can't get it out from me. I have actually been married twice, but that's another story too, not really good ones, and it's the same type of guys, and I should have learned already by the first time, don't go that way. I love to use makeup when I'm off work, and now I'm on vacation, so I can use it even more. So you know that, because you can see me with makeup most of the time in my videos, because I love to use it, and I used it much more when I was younger, but at my work nowadays I don't do it, because it should be just ruined, and I don't go up that early to just put on something on my face. That's ridiculous. I work with car parts, mostly with warranty, but I'm also doing other stuff when the other parts of my job in the same customer bit needs me, so I do both inbound and outbound too, but it's warranty that is my main thing I should do, and it can be very heavy and very stressful too, so it's a lot of things to think of, and maybe not the most fancy shop. I love to fika. For people that know that word in Swedish, that means that you take a coffee, tea or something else to drink. And if you feel for it, you can have a cinnamon bun, a cookie, a cake, a sandwich or whatever. And hopefully you can do it together with friends or other people you love, or you can even be on your own. But fika is a time for yourself, a time with your friends, just a break from everything else during the day. And some Swedes actually do more than once a day. So that's fika. Remember that word. Very important if you are in Sweden. When it comes to fika, I also love Selma. Semla, I mean, not Selma. Selma is a Swedish girl name. Semla. And that's a traditional Fat Tuesday bun, but nowadays they have a little longer period they doing that, but it's only during a certain period you can get them. And if I should explain what it is, it's a Swedish cream bun which has an almond type filling, whipped cream and dusted with powdered sugar. And that's my favorite, number one. And I also love to go and visit old places and historical places and buildings, so castles, medieval type of things, Viking stuff, you name it, you're gonna get my attention. Because I love that type of stuff. Even if they're not always that easy to go in stairs and that type of things, but that's what I love to do. My favorite town is Gothenburg, or in Swedish called Göteborg. And it's almost 1 hour away from here, and that is actually where I should want to live. It's close to the sea and everything. It's all have a lot of stuff you can do. And it's even called Little London, and have many people that are English speaking living there. So it's no problem to maybe meet someone from the same country if you're not a Swede from start. I don't have contact with the rest of my family anymore after my dad's funeral, but that's another story. You don't choose which family you're being born into, but you can at least choose which people you want to surround yourself with. So I'm happy like I am now. And I'm not gonna go into those negative stuff. I'm not afraid of darkness, and when I was a child I have often to go through very long and dark places with no direct lightning, and I've never been afraid for ghosts and that type of stuff either. I actually enjoy the darkness, believe it or not, haha, because I'm darkly inclined. Duh. And that means also that I love thunderstorms, but I do have a big respect for them, because it's been at least 2 occasions that could go bad. First time I was a kid and I was with my friend at their place, and we got a really bad thunderstorm, and actually I should go home for dinner that day, but the mom in the house refused to let me go, and actually just a little bit after she said I couldn't go yet before it was over, the lightning struck and one guy died just some 100 meters away from us because he was doing some football practice. Maybe a little stupid when it's thunder, but some people don't believe things can happen. The other time was when I was checking the horses, or I was on my way to check the horse. I just parked the car and opened the door, and suddenly the lightning came and it hit the building right beside my car, and you can smell that smell and everything. At least the building didn't take any fire or that type of stuff, but when it was so close and I have a lake close and everything, so I was thinking, no, I think I sit and wait till it's calmed down a bit, then I can go. If something happens, it happens. I can't do anything, but at least I can wait till it's calm and have gone away. And see, I had my driving license since I was age of 19, and it was very usual when we were younger to get a driving license. Nowadays it don't seem that important for kids, but when I was young that was a must. So I was actually late, because the most people got it when they were 18. You can't get a driving license here before you're 18 when it comes to cars. I love animals, so sometimes when I was younger I was like a little animal rescue. I had to take animals that maybe they should put down as because they didn't want them anymore. So that means I even had the animals I maybe didn't expect to have myself. But I had cats and dogs, horses, fishes, and even guinea pigs. And I helped people with the rabbits, I helped people with on farms and other type of animals. So I loved being with animals. And I even was a dog walker without pay when I was a kid, because I loved to go and knock at the door and ask, can I go out with your dog when we didn't have a dog for a while. So I've always been that. So I miss having something in my house now, but there's not much we can do when it costs too much. I dreamt of being a police officer, but that accident I was talking about before was the one that put an end to it. I can't be it, and now my eye vision is too bad for it too. But it was actually one of my dreams. That was the reason why I was studying that education I did, because that was a good ground to stand on when you should go further to next education. I love music, and I should die if I shouldn't have it. That's the only thing I really can't live without. I have blue eyes, and they actually have different colors in different lightnings. When I'm in very bright sunlight, people say they go ghost-like, and sometimes think I have grayish type of things, but they're still blue. It's just the lightning that makes them look grayish. But they are actually light blue with a darker blue ring around on the outside of the iris. I love the ocean, but my family was not there very often. But I used to go when I had the car. I still have a car, but when I was younger, I used to take the car more often to the ocean. But now everything is so expensive, so you don't just go for every day when you can to go away, because that should cost a fortune now. I'm not 100% Swedish, even if I'm born in Sweden. I have relatives in other countries too, and even in the native type of things. I live with Trevor, that moved from UK to me for 6 years ago soon. In August we have lived together for 6 years. I used to hang on golf clubs and other golf events when I was younger, and nowadays it's very hard to find them, especially in the area I live in, because it seems like the subculture had disappeared, at least from the places I knew. And the most people I was hanging around during, I think it was at least 10-15 years ago, latest, they are not goths anymore or other alternative. They had disappeared totally from the subcultures. And I think it's sad, so I hope one day I'm gonna find more people like me, and maybe even find places to go to, and not just concerts and that type of things. I am a non-smoker. I think it even smells bad, and I don't drink that often, and I don't use drugs. I actually against drugs too, and I have very personal reasons for it too, from my family memories. And that's also one of the reasons why I want to be a police officer, because I wanted to be active against drugs. I have sleep apnea, but I actually got better news last week, that I actually gonna get my CPC mask, I think it's named, a sleeping mask against sleep apnea, already in the end of August. I was told before earliest September, October, but now I got the paper that I'm gonna come in the end of August and try one, so I can get it with me home, and hopefully I can start sleep during the night and breathe too, because that's the problem with sleep apnea. You don't breathe, you stop breathing a lot of times, and I have the worst sort. But I'm also waiting for another surgery that is the more helpful one when it comes to that. But that will be in the future, and not before next year probably. It's always waiting. And there we are already into that next level, because that was the surgery. And it's actually for probably a gastric bypass. And you're thinking, okay, she's doing a weight sharing. What does that have to do with sleep apnea? It's actually one of the treatments that help people that have a serious part of sleep apnea, because in some parts you can get something from the dentist and that type of people that work with teeth, that they change how your mouth is, so your tongue and everything is in one position. And if you have really light type can be just changing what you're eating and how you're living, and that type of thing can help. But with my kind, when it goes that seriously, so it actually can be that one day maybe I don't even wake up if I'm unlucky, really unlucky. It can happen, but it's not that usual. But I can also be in accidents because I fall asleep or something if it goes even worse than it is now. So I'd rather do this surgery. It can give me two things. It can make me come to a more better shape, so I'm more happy with myself, and I even because I have fibromyalgia too from the accident, so that means that my body might not have to take so much pressure from even weight. And if that, it also give me the good things that I don't gonna have sleep apnea anymore. That's the best thing of everything, because then I can get my energy back and I can do more stuff without falling asleep. I'm old enough to know what a landline telephone is, and I used cassette tapes and vinyl records when I was younger. And when it comes to cassette tapes, I know what you use the tape for, and I know what you use the pen for. And if you're not understanding what I'm talking about, maybe you should Google it and you know what I'm talking about. We didn't have computer or internet before the late 90s, maybe, I think it started to come. It was not that usual when I was still in school, and I was 20 when I was finished my educations. So it was late, and the first internet was a catastrophe, because if someone tried to phone you, the internet connection went down, and tried to download something and suddenly your internet connection goes. And today, with all the Wi-Fi and everything around, people should be so annoyed even if it goes a bit slower. And I can tell you, it was not fast back then, but we thought it was fast because we didn't have anything to compare with. And I also got my first mobile phone very late, so I think it was in the 90s too, closer to the 2000. And that was only because I had to travel so much with a car to the horses, and if something goes wrong, so at least I could call. But it was not like a smartphone of today. You could only just do simple calls and little text messages. In the beginning, I couldn't even take pictures with the phone. And food I like is Thai food, Greek food, tacos, spaghetti, and other type of stuff. Lasagna is one of my favorites too. I can be very shy, especially when I come to foreign people that don't know me well, but I was looking for what was happening. It was just the sound from the door. And yeah, I love that type of food. But I have some allergies too, so I can't eat. I can't be a vegan because of my allergies too. I believe in ghosts and other unexplained things. I don't believe that you have to always prove things are existing, and that's because I have experience from when I was a child that you can't explain, and I've never been afraid of those experiences either, because I have never got the feeling that it was something evil. It's only one time after the accident I knew I had something after me, but I think it tried to get me on other reason. And the final thing is, I had a gift. I still have, but it's a bit blocked, so it's not that often it happens anymore. And it was actually a confession from dead people that haven't died a natural death. It's more like suicide, murder, accident, and that type of thing. And people said to me, you always found out it's not real, it's fake. It's your imagination. You just tell it to get people to listen to you. And I started to believe after a while, because I didn't have anything evidence about who those people were that came to me in like a dream type of thing. But one day after, I had a friend, a male friend, nothing more than friends. And we had a really good time and everything. I got a phone call some days after, and it started very strange because it was a guy in the phone, and he started to ask a lot of different personal questions, and that was just because he wanted to know it was really me answering. And it showed out that he was his twin brother, and I knew that he had a twin brother, but I had never met him, only the one I knew. And he gave me the news that he had committed suicide, and I got this cold feeling and bumps, because just some day after we have been hanging around, we don't lived in the same city, so he had to take his car over and come and visit me. So I had this strange feeling that and this dream coming to me. I was thinking, okay, friends and others that say that I'm just a fake, they're right, because I just recently met this guy, my friend, and he was happy and we had a good time and everything. So I couldn't believe that something like that could happen to him. So I thought, okay, it's fake. But when I got this call, I got even more cold feelings and realized that it is real. He came to me, so that was not fake. But that was the first time I actually knew the person that came to me. So I actually got a friend that is a witch to help me block a part of that signal. I still want to come through sometimes, but not in the same type of way, so I don't have, because you get very exhausted too when you get it, because it takes on my energy too. And that was all. So it is my time to nominate people, and I thought I should nominate some persons too that I like. So I'm gonna put down Nightmare Bliss, Jane Wilkes, Lorna Sharp, and now I forgot the fourth. Yeah, Makeup in Chaos. I thought it should be fun to see their versions of 50 random facts about yourself. And it's not a question that you got on a paper or something. You can random put together whatever you want to tell. And that's all for this time. I hope you like this random video. And thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share. And press the notification bell. And please, Darklings, be nice to each other, stay safe, and love you all. Thanks for watching. Bye.